All right. Hey guys, how are you? Like I said, I know I wanted to do my Catholic video on Sunday. However, when I had said that, I forgot that I was going preaching at the college campuses Monday and Tuesday. So we had left here Sunday morning to go, to go down there to preach those college campuses, and this video is kind of a follow up on that. Um, in addition to just talking about the generalized college campus preaching. Now, I want to premise this by first saying I am not the expert when it comes to college campus preaching. That would be, Jed Smock, who's no longer with us, Jim Gillis, Cindy Smock. I mean, these guys are, they've been doing this for, gosh, decades and decades and decades. Whereas I've done it, I don't know. I mean, well, David reminded me the other day, I've done it quite a few times, but still not to the level of where those guys are. So I just want to talk about my experiences, especially since, college kids today, they seem to be very different than they were back in the day. And I want to start with this, and I'm going to play a clip here. Now, again, this is a clip in and of that is by itself on our YouTube channel. But, again, there's a lot of people watching our videos from different platforms and whatnot. And there's a new platform we're streaming on tonight. Unfortunately, I can't see within my software any comments or things like that yet. But I'm going to play this clip, so for those of you who are on the channel, and you might have seen this already, but I want to play this again, and there's a reason for it. So one of the reasons I want to play this clip is because, street preachers are always told by a lot of others that, we're not really doing anything. No one ever gets saved by what we do. People just get mad. And that's true. People do get mad, and whatnot. But, I had an interaction the other day, when I was out there at Amarillo College, and I had a conversation with a young lady. And I think the conversation was really about, and a lot of people have messaged me right afterwards because they were watching, and they said that was probably one of the single best things that they had seen from our ministry on a college campus. Now, again, college campuses are not something I do a whole lot of, but that's about to change because I preached Monday and Tuesday at those colleges down there, and I loved it. I mean, I loved to preach on those college campuses. I loved spending the time talking with those kids, those one-on-one conversations we have. I mean, I loved it. And I just want to do more and more and more of it. So, I want to play a clip and to premise this clip. So, for those of you who've seen it already, you already know, or those of you who watched the live video as we were preaching it, you're going to see here. I'm going to show you this clip of this young lady who I engaged with for about 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute clip. And, she epitomizes everything of the left. I mean, every single liberal, CNN, satanic talking point you could think of was wrapped up in this one woman. Everything that she believes was what we hear about from all these different, media sources, from social media, activists and LGBT activists. And, like I said, for me, hearing this all come out of one person's mouth, I mean, you could see it there in this conversation. You can clearly see that these kids are being told things and they just blindly believe it. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what things mean. They just, all they know is, feelings and what feels good to me and what makes me feel good and all these other things here. So, this young lady, we were preaching and talking and I heard her say something. So I walked over talking to another lady, and then she turned around and started talking to me, and I engaged in conversation with her. So I'm going to play this clip for you guys. It's 19 minutes, 57 seconds long. Some of you may have seen it already. But again, that was just on the one YouTube channel. This is on all the platforms so everybody can watch it. So if you've seen it already, just watch it. You're going to see in this clip that this young lady goes for me mad. Now, again, I don't know if you guys can see it in the clip or not. But when I was talking to her, she had tears rolling down her face. Now, again, I don't know if you could see that or not. I mean, towards the end, when she started bawling her eyes out, sure, you can see that. But, I mean, during the conversation, I forget where it was, but I saw tears coming down her face almost immediately. So I don't know if you guys you'll be able to see that in the video or not, but I want you to watch this video because I think at the end of the day, this is something you don't see a lot of, or this is the kind of clip that no one's going to play for you, that no one's going to share for you to show what it is that we do in the streets. Okay, because all everyone wants to talk about is the rebuke, right? All they want to talk about is, oh, we don't preach the gospel. All we do is go out there. We're hateful. We're big. The other things here. We do a lot more than rebuking. Okay, rebuking is a part of ministry. But you see, when people are trying to bash you, when the devil wants to discredit you, he only wants to show the things that he knows are going to make people mad. But I want to show you this clip because I want you to see we do a lot more than just that. And if you take a look at this picture here, right, this is a screenshot from the video. Okay, this is her crying. And I stopped and I paused and I told her it was okay and everything else and, all that there. And I was telling her my goal was not to make her cry, right? I did not want to make her cry, right? So you're going to see it wasn't me that made her cry. It was conviction because she heard the truth, things that other people aren't going to say to her, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy this clip. If you've seen it already, watch it again and watch this young lady's face. Just listen to their arguments. And we'll be back here in 20 minutes after this clip.
The Bible is the truth. The Bible is the word of God. That is the truth. It is not the truth. Can you prove the Bible wrong? Absolutely. Archaeology proves it right all the time.
No, you cannot.
No, really. So are you telling me Pontius Pilate didn't exist?
What?
Pontius Pilate, did he exist?
Who knows?
We have archaeological evidence with his signet ring that proves he existed. Did King David exist?
No.
Yes, we have archaeology that proves King David existed. We have demonstrable scientific proof that he existed. Hold on, back up. You just said it didn't exist, and I just showed you it did. So the Bible, King David, you're telling me, hold on. I'm just saying it. Why don't you go look up that King David exists? Go look up the I don't have to look up. I know it's true.
You're gonna come here.
You're in college. Are you in college? Do you go here?
Yes.
Do you go here?
You can't just say you're.
Hold on. Do you go here? Are you a college student?
Do you go here? Are you a college student?
If you're a college student, your goal is to what? Learn and be educated, right? Look things up, right?
You're certified to educate us on this situation.
On the Bible, yes.
No, you are
100%. Sure I am. I am a preacher. I have a theology degree. What? Do I know who personally? I do know Jesus personally.
Okay.
I do know Jesus. Absolutely. You can too.
Okay. That is my choice, though.
You're absolutely correct. It is your choice.
But why is it the correct choice to come here and spread hate about people?
Well, it's not hate.
It is.
Define hate.
Hold on, y'all come harassing the niggas and swearing.
It's harassing. There's a cop right there. Why don't you tell me harassing? You see if he arrests us.
Because y'all is.
Harassment's a crime.
It's the law. No, it's not.
It's not a crime? Go ask the police officer for harassing. This is a public.
I just want to make a note here real quick. You'll notice that this black guy came up to me and starts running his mouth saying, oh, y'all niggas is harassing people. And again, I say that in the context of him saying it. And, listen to the way they talk. Y'all, these college kids, okay, and you're going to see a theme throughout this. And my conversation with this young lady here and others around, if you watch a video, they can't even speak proper English. Now, I'm not saying, everybody's picture, I'm certainly not picture perfect in English all the time, but I mean, come on. And these guys come up and they, again, just watch because you're going to hear, how they say we're hateful as Christians, we're bigoted this, we're bigoted that, but just listen to how they talk to us. Listen to the language and the vitriol that comes out of their mouth.
Walk, whatever it is.
A gym, nigga.
Right? So, see, I don't talk like that.
Your shirt is spreading hate, though.
Why is it spreading hate? Define hatred. Do you know why I have this shirt?
Because you want women to Why do you have it?
Why do I have it? Because when I was at the RNC preaching, I walked to a Subway, and my shirt said homosex is sin, and the lesbian Karen kicked me out and refused to serve me because of my T-shirt.
That isn't hate.
No, it's not hate. You don't define what love and hate are.
You would refuse marriage, but you would refuse.
No, that's not true at all.
Listen.
No, it's not true.
If you were married to lesbian, you would refuse to marry.
Yes, I'm a Christian.
So she's allowed to kick you out
Wrong.
of her establishment.
That's why there's a lawsuit pending. Wrong. Federal lawsuit. You can't discriminate against religion. Can't do it. Politics, sure.
You want to discriminate against somebody who loves someone.
Marriage is a religious belief. It is not. It's not accommodation for you. It is not accommodation for food, shelter, and else. See, how do you go to college and not know basic civics? How do you guys go to college and not know this?
You're word bombing.
Thank you.
You're word bombing.
No, I'm word bombing by telling you the truth. The law.
But you don't like what she refuses service to you.
Oh, it's illegal. It's illegal what she did. It's not illegal for me as a minister to say I'm not going to marry you in my church. That's a church. No, it's not. So you don't want to separate your church and state then. So you want the state to force the church what to do.
Yes.
So you don't believe in separation of church and state?
Why would you do that?
Because marriage is a religious ceremony, not a secular one.
Okay, but still, like, why would?
So you want churches to so you want the state to force the church to do what you want, right?
She's arguing that philosophical is relevant over there.
Who? What?
She's arguing that we shouldn't judge. The Bible doesn't say that.
I know it doesn't.
We should judge.
Well, we don't condemn anybody. The Bible says they're already condemned.
Yeah, we don't condemn ourselves. We judge
Right.
people.
Right. We judge just as everybody judges. Anybody says they don't judge is a liar.
Arguing and saying you shouldn't judge.
But she's judging him for judging.
Like if you see somebody that you think is going to do you harm,
What are you looking at? Like he didn't do anything to you.
yeah, you think I'm going to do you harm?
I think you're weird, and you're butting into a conversation I was having with him.
So he has a right to do it. You don't have to acknowledge these things, but he has a right.
You can.
She has a right to say that. You're 100% true.
So what's the point of going back and forth about this?
You're going back and forth with me. You can walk away if you want.
It's not
Both of you can.
What you're saying? What
It was.
she's saying? What he's saying?
It was back and forth, was it not?
It was for a second,
Right.
but then and there, she was talking to him.
Yeah.
And then
She's
it's
arguing
because
over
she was
judgment,
uncomfortable
saying,
that he
"Thou
spoke up
shalt
and
not
talking to
judge."
her about something.
What did
He's allowed to.
translate
See, this is the problem when
She's allowed to be uncomfortable.
You
By
are,
speaking her
but
opinion.
what's making her uncomfortable? I'm just curious.
The
Is it
fact that
I
she
can
literally
take
said it
that
already.
to
I'll
her.
have to
well?
say
I didn't hear it.
Tell her again. Let her tell
What
her again.
made you uncomfortable about him talking to you?
What made me uncomfortable?
Yeah, about him
Just
talking.
Trying to
She
butt
feels
into our
like I said
conversation.
it.
So that made you uncomfortable?
Yeah, because I'm trying to have a one-on-one
Okay.
with you.
I'm just curious.
Okay.
I'm just
Like,
curious.
well,
Don't
first
read
of all,
anything
he
more than
is
what I'm
a-
saying. You don't have to.
I'm letting you
Okay.
say what you
Yeah.
are saying. He is a grown man.
Right.
You should understand why I would feel uncomfortable.
I'm a grown man too.
Yeah, and you make me uncomfortable, but I'm still.
But you walked up, but
I'm
you.
still having a
I walked over here.
What makes
Okay.
you feel uncomfortable?
So the fact that I'm a grown man.
Maybe
Yeah.
the fact that
So
you
if
said,
there's a
hey, let's go
18-year-old
make me.
Yeah, I would.
Are you a
I
lesbian?
would, yeah, I would.
But you're not. So how? What do you care?
Speaking for her in this moment because
Well-
I mean, I think if I made him also being asked questions by him.
I don't.
But if she don't like it, she can walk away. That's her right.
Okay.
Well,
It is, right?
Yeah, it is her right.
Physically harm any women
Okay, but how am I supposed to know that? I don't know you personally.
because you should assume the good in people.
But I don't.
They only assume the good in their own group. Everybody else is not
Am I
good.
supposed to assume the good in you when you're wearing a shirt like that?
What? Should I say, hey, lesbo, make me say? I just told you the context of it.
Well, but the context is the context doesn't matter. You still
Sure it does.
spreading hate against lesbians.
Sure.
Still spreading hate
You know what?
against
My wife is the one who made me the shirt. My wife, who's a woman.
Okay, what does your wife have to do with me?
Well, she's a woman, mate. She has no problem with it. She's a woman, so she
Okay, but that's
is she bad too?
Is she a lesbian?
No,
Okay.
of course
so-
not.
Okay.
So if she wore it as a grown woman, would it make you upset?
Yes.
You'd be uncomfortable with her
Yes.
because she's a grown woman.
Yes.
So grown people make you upset. Are your parents grown people?
I mean, yes, they
Do
are,
they make you
but
uncomfortable?
Sometimes they can.
Just because they're grown adults?
Yeah. If you're in my face shouting at me and you're a grown man.
I'm not in your face. I'm a good 3-4 feet away from you.
Natural distance.
But if
I'm
you
not
are
trying-
in my face.
Well, I'm not in your face.
Okay, but I'm saying if you are.
But I'm not.
But I'm saying if you are.
Okay, but I'm not. So
But I'm
that's
saying if you
irrelevant.
are, But you're still a grown man.
Right. So the fact that I'm a grown man, so if you and I were in a grocery store and you were getting milk, whatever, and I walked by you, you'd be uncomfortable just
Yes.
because I'm a grown man.
Yes.
Do you understand the problem there?
No.
Do you understand you're going to be a grown adult someday?
Okay.
So are you going to make yourself uncomfortable?
And I understand that I could possibly make somebody uncomfortable because.
That's
I am-
literally retarded.
Okay, don't say that.
It's retarded.
Don't say that.
I will say it again. It's retarded.
For those I thought it's level. Oh, that's a very derogatory
Well, the
word.
ones that
According to who? Who sets the standard on what's derogatory and what's not? You? They, them?
You just say Jesus is one.
Well, Paul called people stupid 3 times.
Stupid is not on the same level as that.
Do you know what retarded means?
Do you?
Of course I do.
Okay,
Somebody
so why
who's
do you use
dim-witted or
it
slow.
Do you know that about her?
Did I call her retarded?
Yes.
I did. Or did I say what she said was retarded?
Okay, that's her beliefs.
There's a difference.
No.
Do you believe? You think my beliefs are stupid,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's fine. I don't care. You see the difference? I don't care.
Overstepping the line
Huh?
of respect.
I have no respect for people that don't respect anybody else but themselves.
So you think we don't respect anybody else?
You certainly don't respect him or me.
Absolutely.
There you go. So why should I respect you?
Why are you talking to them?
Well, you asked the question. You asked the question.
you were just
I told you why we're here. To preach. No, we're not trying to. We are. And I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Why don't you send out invitations? Hey, open invitation. Come
It is no invitation. That's why we're talking.
No, it's not. You just showed up.
But you came over here to talk. Us showing up is literally an open invitation. No, you don't define what hate is. What is hate? Define it.
What you're spreading right now.
What is it? Define it. Give me a definition.
You're trying can't force these things on the other.
But you just said you want to force the church to do what you want. So does that make you hateful?
I guess so, but I'm just.
There you go. So thank you for admitting it. At least I appreciate
What
that.
I want the church to do is not hateful.
Well, it is. You want to force the church to do what you want, and then say it's hateful when you're saying I'm forcing because I'm talking to you.
Because
You're a hypocrite.
You don't want people to love naturally.
You don't. There's no such thing. You can't love if you're gay.
I like her.
It's not love. It's lust. It's not love. No, it's not. It's not love. You think it's love because how you feel, right? Everything about your lifestyle is about how you feel, what you get out of it. Love is not about yourself. It's about other people. What you can do for others, not yourself.
And it's a choice.
Right or wrong?
No. you're
Really?
wrong.
I'm wrong. Prove it.
You
Prove me
can't
wrong.
do love for other people, but you can
What?
love for other people.
What do you can't do love for
I
other
said
people?
You can do love for other
Right. So what does it mean to love somebody? Give me a definition. I'm sorry. Say that again. I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Does anybody have a true definition of love?
Yes, we do. But that's what I'm asking you.
It's a deep feeling for someone you are truly close with that you feel these emotions for.
Okay.
Deeply, sentimentally, intimately.
So love is about your feelings.
It's about everybody's feelings.
Well, not about you. So you. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish her. How do I love my wife? Number one is by providing for her, by taking care of her, making sure she's safe and nothing happens to her.
Okay, so you don't think,
My love for her is about her, not what I feel.
okay, so you
Okay.
don't think homosexuals can do that for their partner?
No, I don't think you can love somebody because God says without truth there's no love. And there's no truth in homosexuality. Homosexuality is a
I
lie.
just think there's no truth.
Because homosexuality is a lie because you think it's natural. It's not natural. Because it is a lie. Do you know the highest divorce rate in this country much any other is lesbians? 70% of lesbian marriages end in divorce. Why? Because they don't love each other.
Why do you think it's a lie?
Because it's not natural. It's a perversion of nature. And there's no truth in it. The only truth is that, a guy says, I want to have sex on his butthole. That's the only truth that they do. And it's because they are perverse and wicked.
What's natural to you?
What's natural to me is...
What do you think natural is?
No, I don't think what natural. What is natural is that a man and woman together that can create human beings, right? Lesbians, homosexuals, they can't create life. Matter of fact, if you're, and I'm assuming you're probably an atheist or an agnostic at the very least, right? So, are you an atheist or agnostic? Okay, atheist. So you believe in natural selection and all that?
Yes.
How could you be gay and believe in natural selection? Natural selection means that the strong survive so you can pass on your genetic material to the next generation. If you believe in natural selection and are gay, wouldn't that be natural selection trying to keep you from reproducing?
In other words, it should have weeded itself out.
Right.
Because
So
gay is not natural.
right, if you believe in natural selection means that the strong survive, right?
Yes.
The whole point of it is to pass on your genetic material, the strongest of us, to the next generation, right?
Yes.
So if you're
Do we have
gay,
evolution?
wouldn't that be nature's way of trying to stop you from reproducing because you can't with another woman? Wouldn't that defy, if you believe in natural selection which says we don't want you reproducing? That, right? So as somebody who's homosexual, how can you support natural selection and be gay at the same time?
And I do believe
why
people
can't
are born again.
I just explained to you.
Okay, but why?
You can't pass on your genetic material, so nature will be trying to stop you.
Why would I want to pass on my genetic? Just because I believe
well, that's
in
natural selection.
just because
No,
I believe
I'm not
in
judging.
Right.
I'm just saying I don't
want to
agree
pass
with
on
him.
my
Right,
genetic.
well that's my point. Is nature is saying to you, if you believe in that, I don't believe in natural selection, but if you do, then nature is saying, I don't want you to reproduce for a reason. What would that reason be?
Do I think it's wrong? Yeah, because it can't.
Yeah.
To me,
If nature is trying to stop you from reproducing and you have no desire to reproduce, right? Because humans naturally want to reproduce or else we die. That's it. That's the end of human race.
They are.
So if nature is putting it in you to not have a desire
I'm not
to
condemning. I'm
push
saying
your
I
genes to the
don't
next
agree.
generation,
Okay. Yeah,
wouldn't
then I
nature
guess
be
in a
saying,
sense I would-
I don't want you to reproduce? And if that's the case, why would nature not want you to
I would
reproduce?
say in a sense I'm judging.
I don't know why nature.
Well, there's only one reason, natural selection. Because nature thinks that your genes are the weaker of the genes and needs to be weeded out. Right? So I'm asking you a logical question. I don't believe in natural selection, but you do. So how could you support that position and be gay unless you don't care that you believe, unless you agree that yes, you're weaker and your genes should not be passed on?
I don't think that I'm weaker. I just don't care about
So
passing
when it
on.
says-
How do you know?
Okay, you're not understanding. So what I'm saying is nature is saying that, right?
Yeah.
So you have no. So what I'm saying is you don't care that nature says that. You believe, you agree,
No, I don't care.
but you said you believe in natural selection.
I do.
But natural selection is telling you not to reproduce,
Okay.
which means natural selection doesn't want you to pass your genes on.
Okay.
Why would nature not want you to pass your genes on?
mainly for me.
What do you mean, why would nature not want me to pass?
So natural
If I'm asking nature, hey, why wouldn't you want me to pass my genes on?
Yeah. It's the law of natural selection,
Yeah.
right? The propagation of the species.
I think my dad.
But
That-
I'm confused on how you would want me to answer.
Well, I'm asking how you can support the position of I support natural selection and then say that being homosexual is natural. If you believe it's natural, then that means that you have to agree that nature's trying to weed you out.
Okay.
Got it?
I see.
Okay.
In the beginning,
I just think that these feelings that we all get whenever we like somebody, we can't deny them. I mean, we can deny them if we really try, but at the end of the day, it's all still there.
which
And
some
you
translate
just love
say
love at the end of the day. You love your wife because you love her. You love your wife because you want to provide for her. I may love my girlfriend because I want to provide for her.
But what do you provide for her?
because they can go further.
Love, unconditional love. Maybe one day we want
But
to
all
be
love is
married.
conditional. Because if she pisses you off and you break up, you're going to stop loving her. Your love for her is conditional upon what she does for you. That's every human being, right? At some point, most people, if they break up, they stop loving and they move on. So love is conditional, right?
Like I said,
And I don't know why you're crying. I'm sorry if I'm making you.
So it was the truth about what love is because she has no idea what it means to love somebody else, and this is what did it.
That's not my goal here. I'm just trying to have a conversation to help understand. That's all. Are you okay? Good, kid.
that's one of those things.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
Love is not emotion. Like I choose to love everybody.
I just,
If they piss me off,
I don't know.
It's okay.
if they piss me off,
I understand that we have differences about who love and how they choose to love or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just think
they come at me.
that accepting people for who they are is so much easier
Everybody
than
has
what we're doing now.
Like if I met my,
And,
so in other words, if
But we were talking normally, and my goal is not to get upset. And if you're upset, I'm sorry. That wasn't my goal.
Right. I just, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I think
he's probably going to slap
disappointing
you back. If you saw a
that
picture
there is
slap
so
him,
much
he's probably going to pray.
of this in the world and that we can't all just come
That's
to
that
an
choice that they
agreement
make. Something that
and
Mike
say, hey, you
Tyson
have your
would
differences,
either
I have my
do, some
differences.
other guy said,
Let's live in
"You've
peace.
done this to me,
Instead,
And I do, and we are peaceful.
Right.
Just because we don't agree, and I do preach loud, and I do preach what some people consider harsh, doesn't mean I want any harm to come to you.
Right.
I don't want anything. Matter of fact, if somebody came right here, I would take a bullet for you if I had to.
But-
You may not believe it. See, you make a face like that,
You said something about the dog earlier.
right?
Why would you say that?
What do you mean why would I say? Because I don't want her to die. I don't want you to die.
Okay, but you don't know.
So what?
What if she committed a crime?
So what?
So now
Does that mean she deserves to die for
earlier
it?
you were talking to someone else about how Jesus loves corporately. And
Yeah.
you could say you love this dog, but you don't actually know it. How is it any different
Corporate,
for her
right?
life?
She's a human being.
So it's different for
I don't want her to die. Period. What? Animals don't have souls. Animals don't, are you saying that animals have the same worth as her? Or you or me? They don't.
I see what
You're
saying.
worth more than an animal. That's the point too at the end of the day. See, Jesus values your life and my life more than animals and
I
plants
don't
and things
think
like
he
that.
does, though. If
But he does.
But I don't think
He
does.
died
But
for
if-
you.
But if I love her, then he doesn't. That's
But
what
okay, so,
saying.
no, that's not what I'm saying. So here, see that's what the world says. The thing is Jesus Christ, whether you're homosexual, fornicator, drunkard, alcoholic, all these things. Homosexual is not the only sin in the Bible. I'm sure you know that, right? That's just one sin. It just happens to be the one that the world is trying to push everywhere right now. But you don't see people having adultery pride parades, right? Or meth head parades, or pedophile parades, right? And I bet you and I would agree pedophiles probably should be put to death, right? So nobody's pushing that. It's only this sin. All sin is bad to God. Whether you're a homosexual, whether you're a drunkard, whether you're a fornicator, it makes no difference. They're going to the same hell. So I don't want you to think we're just picking on gays, because we don't.
But
Other Christians, I preached at the Southern Baptist Convention when they were abusing women. I stood outside their convention with a bullhorn and I blasted them for doing it. So don't think it's not just
I think this is more on the case of the signs you'll have.
the what?
The signs
Yeah.
of the church.
Do you know what? Okay, so I'm going to tell you straight. This is what we call bait to elicit conversation.
And is that not me throwing away? 'Cause
No.
It's deception.
It's not deception because so I gave you the context of the shirt, which we thought was funny because of what the woman did at Subway. That's the point of it. It was funny, and You guys noticed it,
But
and it
I
started a
think-
conversation.
Exactly, but it's deception.
It's not deception, because how is it deception?
You're saying you're having this,
Right.
and it's showing a message,
Right.
And then when people are asking about the message, you're saying it's something else.
No, I'm not. That's exactly what it says, is because the lesbian at Subway didn't want to make me a sandwich.
Okay.
So that's what it is. So it's not deception. To me, it's funny. You guys probably don't find it funny.
But you're saying it's fake
Right.
because you know what people will think.
Well, no, because when you go fishing and you put a worm in a hook and throw it in there, it's still a worm. It's not deceiving. You're going to give the worm to the fish. Just so happens you're going to catch the fish and do whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Which is hateful.
It's not. So again, you have to define what hate is.
Okay.
See, if you ask me what hate is and I ask you, we're going to have different definitions.
Sure.
Whose definition is right? Mine or yours? See, this is why even the Supreme Court says nobody can really define it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that means one group gets to say and the other one doesn't. You know. So how do we together come to a definition that we can all agree on? Right? There has to be some source or some methodology that we can use to agree what is hateful. Because I'm sure, like you said, I'll bet you and me all agree together that anybody who murders another person, that's hateful, right? Or if somebody sexually assaults someone, that's hateful. We can agree on that, right? I think you have to be a pretty hateful person to do that to somebody else, to try to harm physically somebody.
Sure.
I don't think you can claim that person as.
What we're talking
It does. It does, because what I'm saying is that there is a definition that we can agree on. There is a standard of hate that we tend to agree on. The differences are in how we feel about certain things, what determines. So your definition of hate is, if you say homosexuality is a sin, that's hateful. I think saying it's a sin in order to try to save you from going to hell is the most loving thing one can do to somebody else. It'd be like if a truck was coming down this road and you didn't see it, right? It's coming behind you, and I just came and tackled you out of the way. If you didn't see that truck, you're going to think I'm a jerk off for putting my hands on you and putting you away. And you would probably hate my guts until you saw that truck and realized, oh. So you may not view we do it that way, but that's why we're doing it. 'Cause we don't want you to go to hell.
What you're trying to do. Why do you think doing this, like the shirts, the bait, the stuff, why do you think that's the most effective way to go about it?
It's not. It's effective for us. It's not the only way.
Okay, so why
There are multiple
you
ways to do
thinking
it.
This way?
Because this is the way God told me to do it.
That's but
Just because He didn't tell you to do it doesn't mean He didn't tell me to do it.
I know, but like the shirt man, like
So what?
That's got.
And there you have it. So, I wanted to show that clip just to show a different side of street. And you'll notice I'm wearing my Hey Lesbo shirt again because I was doing this video tonight. So, you don't see a lot of those conversations unless you're watching the live video with us. And where I was going with the hate definition, obviously, was because I was going to point to how God is the one who decides morality, what love is, when hate is, something else, but they walked away, right? It's always one person that pulls the person you're talking to out of it. And I agree. That young lady that bawled in tears, look when she started crying. When I started telling her, when she realized for the first time in her life that, what? She doesn't know what love is. See, without God, you can't know what love is. It's impossible. So if you claim that God is love, right, and then say you don't believe in God, then you can't possibly know what love actually is. And and that's what I was saying to her was, that when you break up with somebody, right, and you no longer like them anymore, and all of a sudden, you dash to somebody else, you forget about the person. Matter of fact, a lot of women are very vindictive, right? A lot of women want to, do things to purposely go the way to harm the person that they feel hurt them or what have you. So that love that they claim is unconditional is not unconditional, okay? It's only conditioned upon as long as you continue to make me feel good, whether it's physically, emotionally, whatever. The minute you stop making me feel good, I no longer love you. You see, because that's what love is to these people. Love is all about what you can do for them. I know you love me if what you say or do makes me feel good about myself, okay? The problem with that is not love, okay? There are things that we can feel good about ourselves, sure. But at the end of the day, love isn't about that. And in that moment when I was telling her that, you see, that's when she bawled. I don't know if you could see beforehand the tears, like a little bit here and there coming in her face, nothing crazy until that moment. She was convicted because in that moment, she couldn't disagree. She doesn't know what love is. And I felt for her in that moment. You see, when you guys see it on video, it's different than when you're there face to face with the person. It's very, very different when they're crying like that in front of you and they're being vulnerable like that in front of you. Okay, that's why I said, "Are you okay?" And I let her know it's okay. It's very different. than when you guys see a video. You guys watching a video and you immediately want to go up and hug their girl. You can't just go up and hug her because then you'll snap right up because she's going to get defensive and mad. She said her parents make her uncomfortable sometimes. Older men and women make her uncomfortable just for the simple fact is they were older than her. So there is a method. Now, if her friend wasn't there yip yapping in my ear next to her, I probably could have had another 20 to 30 minutes with her. And ultimately, I'm willing to bet that she could have started that conversation about repentance in Jesus, and we probably would have carried on after the fact. So when you guys are praying tonight or tomorrow, or the next couple of days, make sure you pray for that young lady, because that conversation was one of the most fruitful conversations that I've ever had with somebody. She sat there for a good 20 minutes and she lost it in front of me. She was vulnerable in that moment, and I appreciated that, again, because that doesn't happen a lot, but those conversations and those moments like that, you don't ever see that. You don't ever see those videos. You'll never see somebody who hates your guts, for instance, saying, you know what, I think so-and-so did a good job in this moment here. They can't do that because they can't give you credit for anything. The haters are only going to do things that make it look hate. They're going to, frame things with a certain narrative and that. So this part of preaching, nobody ever gets to see. Okay? Let's be honest. How many of you watch this video today have seen a moment like this on video? Very rarely, right? Have you seen something like this? And I got comments afterwards, immediately afterwards, about compassion and things like that, and how people really love that exchange, and they learned a lot and things like that, and and that's Holy Ghost, right? Because that wasn't planned. It's not like I had a certain script ready to go as I went out there and preached, right? Because each moment you have to be prayed up. You have to pray that the Holy Ghost gives you the words that will come out of your mouth that are seasoned with salt, so that that type of thing can happen. And I was actually very happy to be there, and that moment for me really made my day, believe it or not. Now, no, she did not. She didn't ultimately repent, of course. She didn't repent of her sin right there. She didn't accept Jesus Christ right there. However, ministry isn't always about, you got to get saved right now or else we're ineffective. Sometimes you have to plow that ground. And I believe in that moment, I was the plower, if you will. I was the thresher. I came through and I plowed that ground. Now, what's really sad is you'll notice toward the end, there was a guy standing next to us. And this guy had almost a little Hitler mustache. And he actually was quenching the Holy Ghost, because she cried for quite a bit after she left. She went inside. I saw her come back out the building and she was still crying. If you watch the live video, you'll hear, we looked over to her. And that guy went around and started hugging everybody. Oh, these guys are hateful and else. He was quenching the Holy Ghost because the Holy Ghost was working on that girl's heart. The Holy Ghost was working on her brain. She had got a revelation right then and there that, I'm sure she's going to remember that. And I hope to see her again. I truly do. And the next time I see her, we'll be engaged in more and more and more and more. So, at the end of the day, though, these, you look at the college campuses that we preach at. We preach at, West Texas A&M University, and we preach at Amarillo College, right, which is a community college. Go look at those two videos, and they were night and day. Okay, you go to West Texas A&M, which is a 4-year school, right? And I don't want to say this to be mean, but it is what it is. Those kids tend to be a little bit smarter. They were more mature in the way they handled things. You didn't see a lot of they-thems coming out screaming like you did at Amarillo College. They were more reserved. They were more apt to have conversations where there were a couple that got mad, sure, and screamed, yeah. But for the most part, it was very civilized. We actually laughed a lot. There was a point, I shut the camera off, but you guys didn't see afterwards. We were laughing with the kids and everything else. Like, we didn't want to leave. None of us want to leave. We were having a good time with talking to the college kids. But then you go to Amarillo and you see, the blue hairs, and you could tell it's the people that, are being taken advantage of. It's people that don't have as much money as, say, the students that go to West Texas A&M. And you can see they're the ones who are being groomed even more to believe this stuff. Because if you look at the video, you'll see these college kids. And the thing is everything they say, and I want you to realize this, everything that they say literally is about how they feel. Everything, their entire worldview, their entire belief system is contingent upon how they feel in that particular moment. It's why you guys, when you see me preach, I always ask the question when they say, oh, this is hate, this is hate. Can you define it? Can you define what love and hate is? Right? Now, you guys have been watching me long enough to know I've asked that question for years, hundreds and hundreds of times a year, and nobody can give me an answer. Nobody. And as you saw that young lady there, when I told her, what does it mean to love? I said, so what she viewed love was about her, how she felt about what somebody else did for her. That's how she recognized love. She doesn't know what it means to give of yourself to somebody else, to sacrifice for somebody else, to not want to see harm to somebody else, right? It's not contingent upon, whether this makes you feel good in that moment or not. Because, you really want to know if you love somebody. When somebody pisses you off and you want to walk away, okay? If you're willing to stick around and work it out, even in those moments, or even in those moments when you be mad at somebody, okay? And you may want to slap somebody across the face, but in those moments, okay, when you still stick around, when you say, I can't imagine my life without this person, even in those moments, that's when you know it's about love. Because if you're willing to just simply walk away because you got mad about something, or you're mad about this, or you're mad about that, and you're just going to walk away, and I'm not talking about just a casual fling where you're hooking up, whatever, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. I'm talking about when you're married, or if you're dating somebody and you're courting somebody and you're talking about how in love you are and I can't imagine life without you. But then all of a sudden something happens and it's really easy for you to imagine your life without them, right? So love is nothing more than a fleeting word that people use based upon the moment because of how they feel in that particular moment, right? This person makes me feel so good. This person makes me feel alive. This one does this for me. And that's what love is to these kids. It's about what they get. It's about themselves. And their entire worldview is about them, okay? And because the world tells them it's all about you. The world tells these college kids, believe me, even at Texas A&M, they have this attitude that they are entitled to things, that somehow they are owed something for just existing, that the world has to give them something simply because they just exist. They don't understand that's not how the world works. And I don't know where they learn it from, but I believe it's the schools, right? I believe the schools are conditioning our children. They're grooming our kids. Then they go to college where these professors, right? Because we put so much stock in titles nowadays that these professors are viewed as the source, and they believe them simply because they have the word professor in in their title before their name. And they think that just because somebody's a professor of something, they must know all things. When in reality, we know throughout history that most professors, they get a lot of things wrong and have to update things all the time, right? The knowledge from today is very different than the knowledge from 50 years ago, is it not? Things change all the time. They put too much stock in this because they have no truth in their lives. They don't know God. They don't know Jesus. And I got to tell you, you guys might get mad at this. These college kids are stupid. I mean, they are dumb. And the reason this is important for all of us is because these kids are going to graduate college, whether it's in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They're going to graduate college. Some are going to get in politics. Some are going to become business leaders. They're going to become CEOs of corporations and companies. And you know what? They're going to be the ones who decide the laws. Abraham Lincoln once said, the philosophy of the classroom in one generation will be the philosophy of the government in the next. And we have allowed our schools to do this to our kids. And they are growing up not even knowing basic civics. They don't even know what free speech is. I mean, that college, Emerald College, right? That's a 2-year college. It's a community college. It's a public campus, okay? They can't restrict access. Now, again, time, place, manner, sure. I can't go into a building there and start screaming and preaching. I can't do that, obviously, which I wouldn't do anyway. But the point is those areas, those common areas and the concrete up there, that's a public area, right? That is a public forum. These colleges are going to know, you heard her say, open invitation. Well, it is an invitation. You were able to come up and talk to us. Therefore, it is an open invitation. We need to pray for this youth, for this generation. These college kids, they don't know They are so brainwashed and they are so groomed. They are so evangelized by the world because that's all they ever really know, right? Because think about it, in the churches today, all right, and if you go back with video, we had discussions about this. How many mainstream, big time, millionaire pastors have had sexual sin in their life? They'll tell you not to do XYZ, but then what happens is you find out that they're sleeping with 12-year-olds. You find out they're trying to meet up with teenage girls in hotel rooms, or they're cheating on their wives, right? Or they're, they're getting caught sleeping with their wives. They got hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, everybody, their congregants are worrying about where am I going to put food on the table next week. You're living paycheck to paycheck, worrying about, I got to have ramen noodles for dinner tonight, or mom goes out without dinner that night, dad goes without dinner that night. The Bible tells us as Christians that we're supposed to be the ones to do this, and we don't do it. All right, we have to really be honest with ourselves here, okay? These kids see this stuff. We think they don't. I mean, they're stupid when it comes to civics in the world, sure, but they're not stupid when it comes to what they see. They're not stupid because they see a church out there that's supposed to be this, and because they have been told that love is whatever they believe, and the church has capitulated to that when they really see somebody who cares about them, when they really see somebody who wants better for them, they don't understand what it is. Because the church, who has the moral authority on this earth, the church, which represents Jesus Christ, has failed in our duty to preach the truth to these kids. Instead, we've pushed our kids off in the schools thinking that, my kids there, as long as they're not smoking dope or getting knocked up, I'm good. We've allowed the world to be babysitters to our children because we're too lazy to get involved in things ourselves. Because we don't care. As long as you're not getting D's and F's, not being held back, most parents don't care. They don't give a crap, right? And then you wonder why things are going so badly. And we live in a world now where you have liberal women on TikTok literally encouraging women to divorce their husbands, to break up their families if they have children, if they vote for Donald Trump. They're willing to burn the world to the ground just so they have the right to kill their babies. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about women wanting to murder their children. That's why so many women vote Democrat, because they literally want to kill children. If abortion wasn't an issue, they probably wouldn't even care. But it all comes down to wanting to be whores and sluts, and then cry on social media when nobody wants to marry you. Because when you're in college, sleeping with 50, 60, 70 guys, and you guys sleeping with 50, 60, 70 women, somehow we think that's a good thing. And we're taught today in the world that if you ask somebody their body count, that somehow we're wrong for wanting to know that. Somehow if you want to know if some girl has every STD from A to Z, somehow we're wrong for wanting to know that. If we're wrong and want to know if a woman has seen more penis than a urinal at Yankee Stadium, somehow we're wrong for wanting to know if a woman's vagina looks like chewed up bubble gum because of all the men she slept with in college. There is a group of men out there that don't want to marry a woman like that. A woman who's, when you say hi to her, she goes, let me take my pants off for you. But guys, you really know better. But at the end of the day, that's what's happening. Because women they just want, and they want abortion to be birth control. And college foments this. There is a feminist, you guys might remember in the video in the first one, who was really upset because she thought, because she's a woman, that somehow, she had the right to butt in conversations. And I called her on it, and you can literally watch her say she's a woman, so she felt entitled. And I said, men are talking, go over there. And she got really upset about it, because the thing is she got to understand in that moment, just because you don't get to do that. You being a woman doesn't entitle you to anything. Okay? And she didn't like it. But that's where we are today, is it not? That's where we are. These college kids, I'm telling you, I've heard going to these colleges, it's like listening to CNN. It's like listening to The View. I kid you not. Okay? Because if you listen to these college kids, every word of their mouth is an obscenity. Everything that comes out about sex and sexuality, everything is contingent upon, having an orgasm, right? Or getting high or getting drunk. Like, that's it for them. And then they wonder why, when they grow up, why they have 3 kids with 5 baby daddies and they're working at the Waffle House, why no man wants them. There was a woman literally crying on TikTok the other day. She's like, I'm 31 years old. Why am I not married? I am ready to be wifed up. I am ready to give a man babies. Why am I not married? And then makes another video talk about how bad men are, how she wants to be in charge, how she is intellectually whatever, and she wants X, Y, Z. Let me tell you something. Women that are 5s ain't going to get a man that's a 10. And you men that are 5s aren't going to get a woman that's a 10 either, okay? All these women think that, you know what? Okay, so fine. I slept with 650 men. Now I'm ready to settle down. No man that wants a family wants to settle down with a woman whose kids are going to find out that mommy did OnlyFans one day, or that mommy's going to go to college and you're going to find out she slept with every fraternity on campus one night. No man wants that. No man wants to marry somebody like that, right? Why would anybody want that? But this is where it starts with these college kids. You know, kids used to go to school to learn, to be educated. Now it's about partying and hooking up and, oh yeah, maybe I'll go to class and maybe I'll learn something today. But these college professors, they hate Christ. And that hatred for Christ, that hatred for truth, that hatred for morality is being preached to these kids on college campuses. That when a preacher shows up and you say that homosexuality is a sin, they think it's hate. But it's funny because if I said pedophilia is a sin, they'd all agree. If I say murder is a sin, they'll agree. It's only when it comes to fornication and homosexuality and maybe drunkenness that they get angry about. They agree that sins are things that they don't agree with, but things that they do aren't sinful. It's the way of the world. And this is the next generation. This is why we need to put more focus on these college kids. Because they're going to be our future leaders, whether you like it or not. That's what's going to happen. Okay? These college kids, they don't know anything. You know, you've got literally 19 and 20-year-old college kids on TikTok arguing, you know, with Harvard-educated scholars thinking that they're smarter than everybody else. These kids don't know their butts from their elbows yet. And yet they act like they're the expert. Why? Because other 23-year-olds are, man, you know what? I agree with you. It's just crazy. And yet we as a church are allowing this to continue. Now, again, I make videos like this all the time. We talk about the church responsibility for this, church responsibility for that, and nothing changes. Nothing changes. Why? Because we want the experience of church, right? We want the, you know, and I had a conversation with a young man on campus about this the other day, and he was blown away because he never heard anybody say this, but he agreed with me. The church, the churches in America today, by and large, only are going to give you an experience that you've come to expect already. It's not about the Holy Ghost. Okay? It's about the experience and the emotionalism that you get at a church. You know, that's the same thing these kids get in college. Why should they go to church when they get the same emotional highs, that temporary emotional fix from doing the stupid things they do in college? What's the point of going to church? It's just as hollow and just as empty. So would they rather go to church or they rather go out and have a drunken orgy with their friends? Because they're in the flesh, of course, they want a drunken orgy with their friends. The church isn't providing them anything different than what the world provides them, so why should they go? You got preachers out there that tell these kids, Jesus loves you just the way you are. I'm no better than you. I'm still a wicked sinner, but you better stop sinning. Well, if you can't stop, why are you telling them to stop? You see, preachers think we're so smart. We think we got everything all together. We think we're so wise, and we think that, you know, whatever. We don't realize that these kids, unless you have children of your own, are watching everything you say and do. The minute that you tell somebody to repent, those kids are going to remember you going, wait a second, didn't you say that you can't stop sinning? And thus your entire argument, your entire preach, your entire message becomes completely moot. This is why the Bible tells us to be careful, to examine ourselves. You know, this generation up and coming is so sad seeing them. Because, you know, and I made this argument with them too, is, you know, the reason they seek constant validation is because they know it within themselves, because God put this in there, right? God put the desire to know him in there. And these kids, these people, They're just trying to fill all of that with something else, temporary thing, and they get a temporary fix, just like going to church, right? Church is like a drug, right? We go to church on Sunday. Oh my gosh, the praise and worship was amazing. I mean, Pastor said we're going to have an awesome, amazing service this week. And it was, even though it was the same every single week, but because you're expecting it, Pastor, you already went there with the belief it's going to be amazing. So you are going to have an amazing time simply because you were told you're going to and because you want to. Okay? It's an emotional high. But you got to go back the next week to get it again, because that's Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Go take a look at your Facebook feeds of the church crowd and how fired up and how awesome they feel on Sundays. And Monday, by Wednesday or Thursday, oh, the devil's really attacking me. I can't take it anymore. I'm so looking forward to church on Sunday. Because all that high they got is worn off by Wednesday, Thursday. Now they're going back to church on Sunday to get it again. And by Wednesday, Thursday, the next week, it's again and again. So they go to church on Sunday. They get that emotional high. They feel like they're lifted up. They feel like they're this. They feel like that. Then all of a sudden, come Wednesday or Thursday, it's all gone. They go back. They think that God's delivering them all over again. Now they're being attacked again. Now I got to go back to church again. It's literally, you might as well just be a crackhead. I mean, that's all you're getting out of there. Right? You got to keep going back for your fix. You got to keep going back because by Wednesday and Thursday, you're completely drained. Why? Because there's no Holy Ghost in that church. Why? Because you're not getting spiritually fed. You're getting an emotional high. And just like every other drug out there, it only lasts for so long, then it wears off, and then you got to get more. Then all of a sudden, the church becomes boring to you because it's the same old thing. Then the pastor's going to get more creative and get more crazy because you got to keep doing that, just like drugs, right? Soon you start with pot. Pot ain't good enough. Then you move on to cocaine. Then cocaine's not good enough. Then you got to go to harder drugs to get that high. You got to get higher and higher. And it's the same with the church. That's what it's all about. And while you think you thinking, oh my gosh, you're up there with your speeches, you're up there with your microphone with the music playing in the background, literally manipulating people's emotions, you can only get away with that for so long. But these college kids, they can get that same thing in college. They can get that at any party they go to. They can go on a Friday and Saturday night, get drunk, get high, get laid. That same feeling they have, because again, it's all about feelings, right? Same with the church world. Let's not pretend like it's not true. It's all about feelings, how we feel, right? You're no better than these college kids. And that's why you don't see churches evangelizing colleges, because they don't know how. They don't know what they're doing. Because again, most people, when you talk to these college kids, and the thing is, Ruben used to talk about these college kids challenging you. And I haven't had a good challenge from a college kid in a couple of years. And maybe it's different. Maybe they're just dumber now than they used to be. I don't know. But they don't know Bible at all. They think they do. You have unbelievers telling other people what they think a Christian is or what a Christian should be. Because they, again, just like everything else, a Christian needs to conform to their standards. Okay? And when a Christian doesn't, just like everything else, well, you know what? You don't agree with me, so you're hateful and a racist and a xenophobe and a bigot. Because again, these kids, they have this entitlement attitude and they think the entire world needs to revolve around what they think. You're going to see a shift in history. Everything's going to be revised. Everything's going to be rewritten based upon what these people believe. True or not, they don't care. It's just like the Christians today. There are Christians out there that will say, I am saying 150% for a fact that Christmas and Easter are pagan holidays. And it's not true. You can show them every year and ask them to give you a primary source to prove that. And they can't do it. And yet they still believe it anyway. It's all, and again, we are guilty just as much as they are. And that's why most Christians and most churches today are ineffective, because you're just as bad as the world. And yeah, maybe not everyone in the church is sleeping around. A lot of them are. Maybe not everybody in the church is getting drunk. A lot of them are. But those aren't the only sins. Just like I told the young lady there, homosexuality is not the only sin in the church. There's a lot of sins. Apathy is a sin. Okay? People perish because of ignorance. We give our ears to every Fruit Lip out there, simply because you can see them pop up on a screen from time to time. Or because they make you feel good, or because the presentation they're giving you is not who they really are. See, we don't want real people in the world. We want an image of somebody, right? We don't want the real of people. It's why you think all these pastors, think about it, all these mega pastors are rich and famous because people don't really know them. The image they present to the world is not who they really are. And when who they really are does come out, people fall away from the faith because they had faith in man, not God. And kids see this all the time and they go, why would I want that? You think anybody from Greg Locke's church is ever going to go to a college campus and evangelize a student and get them to come to Greg Locke's church? No. You think Joel Osteen's going to be able to do that? No. You think Robert Morrison's going to be able to do that anymore? The Rock Church out there in Virginia's going to do it anymore? No. You think the Demon Slayers are going to do that? No. They're too cowardly to go to college campus. They're afraid they're going to get beat up by these kids, even though they're not. We like to sit in our air-conditioned buildings, our nice plush chairs, and wait for the sinners to come to us. But all that really happens is people just church shop. When they get bored of the one church, they go to the next one. That's it. It's not sinners getting saved, continue to go to church. It's just Christians going to different churches. Greg Locke's church is not, as big as it is because of sinners being there. It's because of Christians that went there because they like the fact that this guy tore up his Target card in the Target parking lot. He didn't actually go into the bathroom or anything. He didn't actually stand outside with a board. And he just got on video in front of a Target and said, "Rip my card." And you see, when people see it, like, wait, I don't have to actually do anything. I don't have to confront anybody. Shoot, I can do this. And that's what they want. They want excuses. But we're going to pay for it. We are paying for it. Mommy and daddy, if you're watching this and your kid's at college, do you have any clue what that child of yours is doing on that campus? A lot of us preachers know, the ones that go out those campuses, we know because they tell us. Have you ever watched a street preacher's videos? If your kids go to a college and all of a sudden you see a preacher video pop up with a title from that college in the video, maybe you should watch and see if your kid's there. After all, Dad, how much money are you paying for your daughter to go to that college only to wind up becoming somebody's slut? Aborting and murdering their babies in the name of convenience. And Daddy, you probably have no idea what's going on. How about you with your son out there? Gonorrhea, syphilis, right? This is what you're paying for. Do you know what your kids are doing there? Do you believe what your kids say that, oh, everything's good, we're studying, we're working hard, whatever else? Do you believe that? Because I can tell you this, that's not what's happening. These kids need a dose of reality. See, the thing is they say we're hateful. Who cares what they think? I mean, do you need validation from them? They need validation constantly because they don't have a piece of themselves from God. Why aren't churches out there on these college campuses telling them the truth? See, I know there are churches I know there's Christian groups and things at these college campuses. I know because some of the kids came and talked to us. One girl even said, I'm a Christian and this just breaks my heart what these guys are doing. What's that? Because we're saying what the Bible literally says? Because we're saying homosexuality is a sin? Fornication is a sin? Because we're saying those things? It's hateful to you? A new convert? Why? Because you want to be friends with the world? You want to be friends with the world and a worldly system that hates God? It's ridiculous. So, I loved going out there. I absolutely loved it. And we're going to do it some more. We are going to be preaching on college campuses more and more and more. We could have done more, but again, it all comes down to funds availability. Christians don't want to help support a ministry that goes out and does that stuff, right? The devil hates it. The devil wants it, whatever. It is what it is. So we'll do what we can when we can as we come up. I also want to let you guys know we had a new brother out there, pretty new Christian, came out with us, and his name is Donnie in Oklahoma. He's been out several times. He was out again today out in Oklahoma there with Jim and Larry Street, where he lives. He lives pretty far on the east side there by the Arkansas, Oklahoma border. But man, he loved being out there. He's so fired up. He's like, I love this. The conversations, all these things here. I mean, he loved it. And he's a relatively new Christian. He wasn't saved in a mega church environment. He was saved out in the streets. So we got a new member of the team who's on fire for this stuff. He just wants to preach and preach and preach. And he's going to come with us everywhere he can when he can. He's got a 10-year-old daughter home, so he can't come, like we do. And but he's going to do what he can as much as he can because he loves it. So we're very thankful that, God has given another laborer out there, a younger guy. If you watch the video, he's mad because somebody said to me, I look like I was 32 when I'm 48. And he's like, wait a second. He said, you look younger than me. And I said, it's probably because your beard is full of gray hair. I only got a little bit gray right here. That's it. But you got like a full-on gray beard. Probably because of the gray, that's all. So praise God that we have a new brother out there. Praise God for more laborers out in the field. We need that more than anything else. We're thankful to the Lord for that. But I do, I've been telling you guys for a little bit now that I do feel as though this, God is going to be pushing us into different areas, right? I've traditionally focused on events and things like that, but the college campus thing, I mean, I loved it. My favorite preachers that I've done were Tennessee Tech, years ago, and the kids, I sat down on a bench and the kids literally lined up to ask me questions and then go back and I love that. What I did today, what we did Monday and Tuesday, I love that. That I'm like, this is who we need to focus on, because if we can get them there, that's the demographic that the LGBT's after, right? 18 and 34-year-olds. That's what we need. We need to target them and tell them the truth. And the thing is, you got to tell them the truth regardless of how they feel, regardless of what they say, because believe me, while they call you hateful for saying homosexuality is a sin, it's perverted, they'll call you every obscene name in the book and claim that they're loving and tolerant. They'll claim you're hateful. And you see, other Christians agree with them because they're angry, right? They think that when you make somebody angry, it's hateful, right? Because that's the way the world perceives it, right? Well, you made them mad. Well, but that's often what truth does. It makes people mad. You just don't understand that because, again, everything about you is contingent on your feelings. You can't feel anger. If somebody makes you angry, it's because they're being hateful to you, right? Because your feelings got hurt. Your belief system got challenged. You don't see us crying when I sit there and say, you effing this, effing that. Look, you guys know I'm not a thin guy. They make fun of me all the time for it. I could care less. I don't care. I don't care what they say. I mean, look who we're dealing with out there. Look at the kind of people we're dealing with. Okay? These people clap for drag queens that groom in front of twerk and groom kids. So we need to start praying and really focusing more on some of these younger kids, these college kids. And if you're a parent, I encourage you to get involved in your kid's school, whether it's grammar school, elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Get involved. Get involved, because if you don't, it's going to be really, really bad. All right. It's already bad. It is, but it's going to get worse and worse and worse. If you don't take an interest in your children's school now, if you fail to teach them the lessons that you need to teach simply because you're afraid of being mad at you, what you're not teaching them, the world is going to teach them. And the only thing they're going to know is what they've been taught by their peers. Their peers have an influence on them that you will never have in your kids, whether you like it or not. And when your kid goes off to college and you're not there anymore, we see what they do. So we need to take an interest in these college kids. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because we are going to be doing more college ministry. So keep us in prayer for those doors to be opened and all that. And if you want to help, fund that part of ministry, again, down below. But I want to move on to something else real quick before we get off here tonight. As you guys know, Intuit, you've heard me mention it several times, TurboTax, Credit Karma, MailChimp, and QuickBooks. Again, if you're using any of the services, I would close your accounts and don't use them anymore because they are a woke corporation that hates Christians, persecutes Christians. They're evil, an evil, wicked corporation that, again, they want to make your life miserable. They want to burn your life to the ground if you will not comply with the they-them mandates. And I'm going to show you something that's on Pacer, okay? I'm going to show you a motion from the plaintiff in response to their motion. So Intuit made a motion to dismiss, right, Miss Watson's claim, right, the Christian that was fired. They made a motion to dismiss, and wait till you hear why. Wait till you hear their argument. It's just as bad as the lesbians' argument that says that their feelings should be the barometer by which we measure something as threatening or not threatening. Intuit, right? Large corporation, billion-dollar corporation, persecutes Christians, doesn't like it when they get sued, makes a motion to dismiss, and I'm going to show you the response from the attorney representing Miss Watson. And by the way, I just want to remind you guys that this woman still needs financial help a lot. And I know some people said they were going to give. I can't remember who it was, who said they were going to give when and where. But we're at that point now. And, I talked to her the other day, sort of, not about her case or anything, just in general, like how you doing type thing, because we're not discussing her case, her and I, anymore, just so to avoid any issues with because Intuit has a hard on for me. For lack of a better term, I don't know how else to say it. They're just sick and perverted when it comes to me. So I'm going to show you this motion. I'm going to read it to you on the screen here. Okay. Here's page 1. Actually, I got to put my reading glasses on because, so I'll read it to you guys as it's up on the screen here. Okay. So I hope you guys can read that and understand what we're dealing with. And pay attention here. Okay. Because you guys are going to get a kick out of this. You guys are going to love this, right? Watch this, okay. Now comes plaintiff Christina Watson and files this plaintiff's response in opposition to defendant's partial motion to dismiss plaintiff's second amended complaint and asks the court to deny the motion in its entirety. The summary of the argument, ready for this? Defendant, which is Intuit, argues without evidence that allegedly because 100% of Christians in the world do not all believe COVID-19 vaccines and identifying individuals with a gender inconsistent with the gender they were created with, Title VII does not protect Christians from discrimination in the workplace. Such a reading of the Title VII would render the statute meaningless. So what they're saying is because not all Christians agree that means that Christians shouldn't be protected in the workplace because they don't all agree. Well, homos don't agree either. LGBT doesn't even agree with the team most of the time. That's their argument, that without 100% consensus with each other, Christians should not be protected in the workplace. I want you to think about this case. This case is saying that you as a Christian, right, Intuit wants to be able to discriminate against you because of your religious beliefs. That's what they're arguing in a court of law, okay? Intuit, TurboTax, MailChimp, QuickBooks, okay? Credit Karma is arguing in a federal court that they should be able to discriminate against Christians who will not go along with the LGBT narrative because not all Christians agree. So what they're saying is that the Christians that agree with us, which are not Christians, by the way, we won't discriminate against them because it's all about the gender and the sex stuff. And if you don't agree, then the government, then those Title VII protections don't apply to you. That's their argument in federal court. That's what they're trying. That will affect every single person watching this video and everybody not watching it if you're a Christian. The devil is out there trying to attack you as a Christian. And you Christians that are sitting on the sidelines, you know what? If she loses this case because none of us can help and pray and do all these things, you don't want to support guys like us? I had my free speech case. Praise God, I won. They tried to make the Bible hate speech. Now they're trying to say we should discriminate against Christians who wouldn't take the shot and who would not, who won't use the gender pronouns. If she loses this case, this becomes case law, and you'll be fired if you don't comply with somebody's gender mental illness. Do you understand that? This is important. So let's hear the defenses. Let's hear their Miss Watson's argument. Standard of review. To prevail on a federal rule, 12b6 motion, a defendant must convince a court that a plaintiff pleads no factual allegations that, if taken as true, would constitute grounds for a possible claim. Bell Atlantic Corporation versus Twombly, 550 U.S. 554 in 2007. To survive such a motion, a plaintiff's complaint must contain sufficient factual matter, when accepted as true, to state a claim to relief that is plausible on its face, ID at 570. A claim has facial plausibility when a plaintiff pleads factual content that allows a court to draw the reasonable inference that a defendant is liable for the misconduct alleged, ID at 556. The plausibility standard is not akin to a probability requirement, but simply asks for more than a sheer possibility that a defendant has acted unlawfully, right? ID also Ashcroft versus IQBAL 556 US 662 in 2009. Ms. Watson has pleaded facts that, if true, give rise to more than a sheer possibility the defendant's COVID-19 and preferred pronoun policies had a disparate impact on Christian employees. Ms. Watson describes the basis. Now let me go to page 2. Boop, there we go. Wait, page 2. Of her religious objection to both policies no less than 7 times. She describes the protected class to which she belongs at least 10 times. And she's got this all written down and recorded. She describes the discrimination and denials to which she and at least 2 other employees belonging to the same class were subjected to. DKT 33, 9, 10, 11, 12. You guys can see all those numbers there. Ms. Watson also describes in detail responses from Intuit's HR team. Taken together, Ms. Watson's claims, if true, more than surpass the sheer possibility line. Argument. In challenging Ms. Watson's preferred protected class, defendant asks this court to impermissibly place a religious belief, practice, or observance into its rightful place within a specific faith community. Repeatedly and in many different contexts, we have warned that courts must not presume to determine the place of a particular belief in a religion or the plausibility of a religious claim. Employment Division v. Smith, 494, U.S. 872 and 887. Defendant's opposition to Ms. Watson's protected class of Christians and other faith beliefs who believe God determines whether an individual is a male or female and creates all humankind in his image is not really an objection to the protected class, but rather disguises its real argument that Ms. Watson's beliefs are not valid. Their argument is better suited for challenging sincerity, but the bar is so low for challenging sincerity, defendant knows Ms. Watson easily passes that hurdle. The sincerity of a plaintiff's engagement in a particular religious practice is rarely challenged, ID at 791. As the court in Mosadiq versus Texas Department of Criminal Justice, 703, there explains, though the sincerity inquiry is important, it must be handled with a light touch or judicial shyness. Okay. And that is, AAXREL Bettenbaugh versus Needville Independent School District. Examining religious convictions may any more deeply would stray into the realm of got to go to page 3. Realm of religious inquiry, an area into which we are forbidden to tread. ID F and admitted. Both before and following Mosadiq, claims of sincere religious beliefs in a particular practice have been accepted on little more than the plaintiff's credible assertions, Tago versus United States, and that case there. Instead, defendant attempts to argue that because not every individual identifying as Christian shares the same belief that God creates all mankind, male and female, and that gender determination is set by God, then that religious belief is not protected by Title VII. Indeed, Defendants' arguments require that to be protected by Title VII. Everyone under a certain religious umbrella must unanimously agree on the underlying belief. Title VII would be rendered meaningless for religious employees. You understand that argument, you guys? Do you hear what they're saying? You hear what they're arguing, what Intuit's arguing. If you believe that God created the male and female, you have no protection from work. You can be fired because you won't go along with somebody's preferred pronouns. This is going to the future. See, right now we have a chance to stop this probably for a few years until this, whatever, because this will be case law. This isn't speculation. This isn't some far off dystopian future. This is happening today, right now. Plaintiff pleads an accurate protected class on her CV-19 claim. Defendant alleges Ms. Watson's protected class is only those who are opposed to taking the, for sure, the umbrella of those opposed to taking the jab is large. That umbrella includes individuals who cannot take it due to medical issues, individuals who believe it is an intrusion to the civil liberties for a government to require any such thing, individuals who believe that the shot is ineffective, or, as in Ms. Watson's case, those individuals who have religious conflicts with taking it. Ms. Watson cites the Christian employees who had a religious objection were discriminated against by being denied opportunities afforded to their peers that did take it. She and docket 333, so they gave proof. She also cites another employee who was terminated due to the employer's religious conflicts with their jabby jab mandate. Defendants allege that that jabby jab opposition was not widespread in the Christian community. There are two problems with this assertion. One, defendant offers no evidence, no statistics, and no case law tracking the number of Christians who believe that taking it is in conflict with their faith. Requires the number of Christians who believe this had nothing to do with their religious beliefs, or the number of Christians who believe they have a religious requirement to take this. At a minimum, defendants' allegations require an expert opinion and is simply not within the defendant's knowledge. Secondly, even if such proof existed and was offered with their motion to dismiss, such information is irrelevant to Ms. Watson and to those whose religious beliefs align with hers. Ms. Watson must show that a neutral policy of defendant had a disparate impact as applied to people of faith. So she's not only fighting that they-them mandate, she's also fighting that mandate that they tried inflicting on everybody. Do you see where this is going, guys? Plaintiff pleads an accurate protected class and a preferred pronoun claim. Religion under Title VII does not require 100% unanimity of adherence. Am I in the same thing here? Yeah. Ms. Watson cites both Christian and other faiths, non-Christian religious believers, who likewise believe a higher power creates all male and female, as the impacted class from defendants' policies. Defendant argues that because all Christians everywhere do not believe that their faith requires the same position as Ms. Watson, that nonetheless Ms. Watson's religious beliefs are not protected by Title VII. Such a position leads to absurd results that undo the very reason for Title VII's existence and the great breadth of case law supporting what is considered a protected religious class. The issue of whether God defines an individual's gender is hardly a custom-tailored subset of a religious group, as defendant posits. So you see what Intuit's trying to do? They're trying to claim that real Christians agree with the LGBT. Why do they believe that? Because go look at their YouTube channel. Younger, transgender, LGBT people. This is what they're being told, right? Because they believe they can decide, like everything else, or a bunch of elitists, they can decide what a Christian is. And this is what they're arguing in court. Well, the only real Christians are those who believe what we believe and accept us. And this is happening because the church has done a really poor job in defending their position. They have capitulated to Intuit's meaning here. And when Intuit's done with people like us and Tina, they're coming after you next. Make no mistake about it. Okay. Wait, what happened here? We're on page 4. Okay. The issue of whether God defines an individual's gender is hardly a custom-tailored subset of a religious group, as defendant posits. It is instead an issue that has divided entire global denominations. The Episcopalians, Methodists, Presbyterians, and Lutherans are perfect examples of mainstream religious denominations splitting into two depending on their view of God's design for male and female genders. Inherent in this disagreement is the bedrock religious belief surrounding the sovereignty of God in human affairs, a matter that is not relegated to politics, pop culture, or a passing fad. Miss Watson cites how she grew up in a similar household of faith. Miss Watson cites how she has a fundamental belief that God determines who is male and female. Miss Watson cites another employee who shared the same Christian faith and beliefs and who also suffered from defendant's preferred pronoun policy. Miss Watson's religious position and practice is exactly the type of conduct Title VII is charged with protecting. No faith can boast of complete unanimity regarding their theology, adherence. If Title VII was to require 100% adherence within a faith to specific belief or exercise of belief, as defendant asserts, the spirit of Title VII would be rendered meaningless. For example, individuals in the Muslim faith who wear the hijab would not be protected from their employer's dress code preventing head coverings because not all Muslims believe that a hijab is required to faithfully adhere to their religion. No one would seriously contend that proposition, but it nonetheless is where they would lead. Defendant's case are inopposite to Ms. Watson and to its policies. Defendant's cited cases are distinctly different from Ms. Watson's preferred religious beliefs and are not binding authority in this court. In Brown v. Alaska Airlines, Inc., the relevant position was the plaintiff's opinion that sexual predators should not be allowed in women-only places. Furthermore, it is not evident from the record that Brown's concern for sexual predators gaining access to women-only spaces is grounded in religious belief at all, let alone Brown's Christian belief specifically. Brown v. Alaska Airlines, Inc. Okay, so there's that one there. That's 5. Let's go 6. Nope. 6. Disputes over bathroom access is not remotely a fundamental religious belief, as in the belief of how mankind is created, who the creator is, and humanity's role. The plaintiff in Brown also cited safety as a major concern for her anti-LGBT comments regarding her employer's policy. Ms. Watson has consistently maintained her objection to the pronoun policy stems from her religious belief that God determines someone's gender, and it is blasphemy for her to do otherwise. The plaintiff in Brown also posted her comments to a social platform, which is what spurred the adverse action against her. The court found that Brown's religious beliefs did not require her to post on social media platform. In contrast, Ms. Watson's objection was confined to seeking a religious exemption request and voicing concerns regarding application of the policy without accommodation to religious believers within her company. The defendant's case adopted the reasoning of Dunbar versus Walt Disney. Cox's case. Okay. In Cox, the court reiterated Dunbar's stance. As the court noted there, courts generally treat disparate impact claims as those affecting particular groups or faiths, including articulable subgroups, but not all those who share a single common belief. And he gives a bunch of case law there too. God's role in the Christian humanity from the book of Genesis is the most foundational basis of religious sects, from the Jewish faith to Christians to Muslims and others. Defendants' preferred class cases are simply inapplicable. Plaintiff properly pled facts if proven support punitive damages. Defendant improperly asserts the plaintiff is required at this stage of litigation to prove entitlement to punitive damages. Assessing whether punitive damage liability has been proven is an issue more properly suited for motions for summary judgment, at least, or more properly, after the conclusion of plaintiff's case in chief, Harris versus FedEx Corp. The relevant question is, again, we ask whether a reasonable jury would not have a legally sufficient evidentiary basis to find for the party on that issue. Novak versus Woodland Nursing Center. Discovery is ongoing in this matter and not set to conclude until March 7, 2025. A Title VII plaintiff certainly faces a formidable burden in establishing liability for punitive damages. Given these stringent standards, a plaintiff faces a formidable burden in seeking punitive damages for employment discrimination. Okay. It quotes another case law there. A Title VII plaintiff must prove that the defendant engaged in conduct knowing or with reckless indifference to whether their actions violated federal law. not just that their actions were retaliatory and discriminatory. Thus, the defendant employer must at least have retaliated in the face of a perceived risk that her actions would violate federal law to be liable for punitive damages, ID at 440. In the instant case, Ms. Watson listed her denial of a promotion, the takedown of her Slack communications, and the hiring of Mr. Diego Valdivia. Okay. Defendant dismisses the relevance of Mr. Valdivia's hiring. It is not that his workstation was remote, but rather that he took the role of Ms. Watson because he had the and thus eligible to attend on-site activities and to pursue advancement opportunities that were denied. Ms. Watson. It is the direct reduction of Ms. Watson's workload in favor of Mr. Valdivia is the example of defendant's discriminatory and retaliatory actions that have proven can form the basis of plaintiff's punitive damage claims. Last page. Ms. Watson further cited her demotion to a business unit that had no marketing budget, which as a marketer was Ms. Watson's main job, paragraph 56-57, and her continual denial of rotation opportunities. Ms. Watson explained how she was pulled off chairing the We Care, We Give Back committee. And importantly, plaintiff cited how she was told by an HR representative that no accommodations would be granted for use of defendant's preferred pronoun policy. Whether these actions were taken by defendant with the knowledge they may be violating Ms. Watson's Title VII protection is an issue for fact development during the course of discovery, including depositions. Ms. Watson received defendant's first round of production on Friday, October 24th, 2024, 5 days before plaintiff's response to this motion was due, with the requirement of the factual development to determine the state of mind and defendant's key decision makes the issue of punitive damages is improper for a rule. Leave to amend. And despite the foregoing, this court were to conclude that any claims in the second amended complaint against the defendant shall be dismissed, Ms. Watson respectfully requests this court give plaintiff an opportunity to amend, which will be freely granted when justice so requires. Conclusion, Ms. Watson asks this court to deny defendant's partial motion to dismiss plaintiff's second amended complaint. In the alternative, Ms. Watson asks the court for leave to amend pleadings. So, this is pretty serious. I've been trying to tell you guys this, this whole time. She's fighting for her life and yours and mine. Anybody else who cares about having a job that doesn't want to bow down, right? You want to talk about the mark of the beast coming? We have examples right here that if you don't conform with this, what's going to happen to you? On top of that, I want you to think about this. So Intuit also is a child grooming organization. Okay, they have a whole thing here, right? Intuit, you see up there, right? TurboTax, other companies. Trans Plus Summit. The Gender Cool Project is a youth-led movement bringing positive change to the world. The champions are helping replace misinformed opinions with positive experiences, meaning meeting transgender and non-binary youth who are thriving. So they're groomers. Intuit are a bunch of child groomers. Let's see here. Let's take a look here on the website here. Intuit. Gender. Cool. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Our youth mentorship. Oh my gosh. Wait till you guys see this. Woo, that's pretty, look at this, right? You have Intuit here, TurboTax, Credit Karma, QuickBooks, MailChimp, all owned by Intuit, right? So you can see here, Intuit.com, blog, social responsibility. Announcing our transgender youth mentorship program. Look at this. At Intuit, maker of TurboTax and QuickBooks, we believe that everyone plays a part in making sure all people, regardless of their gender or sexual orientation, feel like they belong. Unless you're a Christian who disagrees with that, of course. We continue to focus on attracting and retaining a talented and diverse workforce that fosters inclusion and belonging. So what they're saying is they are only attracting trannies and homos. But we want to do more. Right? At Intuit, maker of TurboTax QuickBooks, we believe that everyone plays a part in making sure all people, regardless of their gender, feel like they belong. We continue to focus on attracting and retaining talent and growing KK. Last spring, our Pride Employee Resource Group, hosted our first Intuit Transgender Summit, mentioned by Huffington Post and Axios to be the first of its kind for Silicon Valley. Intuit employees, Gender Cool Project champions, and guests from Adobe, Bank of the West, Airbnb, and others came together to spend the day learning about what members from the transgender community experience every day. Conversations and panels explored personal experiences and how we can move both our company and society forward. While leaders walked out with action items based on the biggest concerns they had heard, our Pride Network members left the day feeling inspired, but they wanted to do more for the transgender community, specifically the future workforce. After hearing stories from the gender cool youth and their parents, conversation between our Pride ERG and the Gender Cool Project continued, and an opportunity was uncovered: the Intuit and Gender Cool Champions Mentorship Program. As someone who's worked with the transgender community for many years, Gender Cool co-founder Jara Goldstein shared that there's an opportunity for transgender and non-binary youth to have the opportunity to be included and to see what's possible. We believe this is the first step to open our doors and lean into meaningful experiences and building lasting relationships. How long do you think it's going to be before you find out Jara Goldstein has either lied about something or, I don't know, was doing something with children? Not saying she is. Just saying that we have a lot of evidence that suggests that people that go into this usually do these kind of things to people at some point in their life. 6-week virtual co-learning experience will pair a gender cool champion with an Intuit employee, not only provide support and friendship. Gotta have an adult partner up with a child. This is what Intuit's doing. I mean, and they're saying it publicly too. Right? A gender cool champion, which is a kid, with an Intuit employee to provide support and friendship. In what world is it appropriate for an adult to be friends with a child? Only in the LGBT world. I wonder why that is. But to share their everyday work experiences at Intuit. We want to foster meaningful conversation about how to be successful in a diverse environment. It means by firing everybody who disagrees with you. What it means to live the values of championing diversity and inclusion while sharing career advice. That's right. If they don't agree with you, don't promote them and fire them. Global Pride Chair Charisse Slover, can't wait to see what comes out with her in the future, shared her excitement around the launch to the mentorship program. We'll be the first to step into the space within the tech industry. We want to grow the program beyond our organization. We hope to lead the way for other companies so they can incite meaningful and tangible programs to support the LGBTQ plus community. We're inspired by the passion of our employees to make a difference and embrace change. How is nobody like freaking out about this? Like, how does nobody care? Like, how is this organization allowed to partner adults with children? How is this allowed? Like, and where are these kids' parents? Watch this. Watch this. Oh my gosh. Watch this. I can't believe this. Oh, it's a Facebook video. Is that what it is? Okay, it's a Facebook video. Okay. You guys watch this.
Hi everybody, it's Gender Cool Champion Eva here, and I'm just here to say thank you for being an amazing partner, elevating your voices, and helping the world become a better place. Bye!
Any of you guys watching that okay with that video? Anybody okay with that? Intuit is now a child grooming organization, and we can prove it. They're literally targeting children. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, this is what they're doing. I mean, of course, built in San Francisco. Intuit is partnering with the Gender Cool to launch a 6-week. This is disgusting. Like, why is this being allowed? Why is this allowed? Mentoring a fit. Whoa, ha ha ha. Whoa. Mentoring a 15-year-old transgender student changes everything. We often talk about creating a workplace to welcome everyone, a dynamic that's to be important to me. I also believe that most people, including myself, happen. Creating an inclusive work environment is a daily intentional act. And if I really believe that inclusion was imperative for my team company, it was time for me to step into someone else's shoes. The Gender Cool Project. Recently, I mentored a high school student through a rotation with the Gender Cool Project, a youth-led movement that's helping the world understand how talented, transgender, and non-binary young people are. This is made possible by my employer, Intuit, where the mentoring program is helping us move toward our diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. Intuit has partnered with Gender Cool, helping elevate the voices of 17 champions, young people ages 12 to 17 who lead the work for this nonprofit. 12 to 17 years old, folks. When we participate in a mentorship program, we open our teams to self-reflection and awareness. This impacts our culture today within our existing teams and prepares us for the future as we welcome the next generation workforce. This, wow, diversity training. Wow. Effort, wow. Is it? Speaks to the employees into a child. Braces, this is a kid. My Gender Cool mentee, Daniel, right? So this is Daniel, okay? And this is the person who's mentoring Daniel. Look at this thing. I'll bet you that's a they, them. I bet you that's a homo. Look at that. This is an adult who's now publicly bragging about mentoring a 15-year-old child. Gender Cool provides a real human experience of diversity and inclusion to build on. I wonder what's on they, them's computer. I'm just saying, I don't know what's on there, but maybe somebody could take a look and make sure everything's cool. One that left me feeling joy. When you hire a trans woman into your organization, you need to know what it means to be a trans woman working for you, a dude with a mental illness. We have to own the fact that we have constructed our lives in certain ways, that we actually do not get a chance to experience people who aren't like us. Mentoring Daniel provided me a vehicle for taking responsibility. How am I trying to connect with people who aren't like me? How am I trying to connect with 15-year-olds? How deliberate am I in trying to understand my bias? How do I know myself alongside people with different experiences? Rosanna Dorothy, Vice President, Global Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging at LinkedIn says, we must connect. She often points to PRRI study that found among white Americans, of course, 91% of people compromising their social networks are also white. Among black Americans, 83% of people in their social networks are composed of people who are also black. It's not a stretch to imagine similar divisions also existing along dimensions like gender identity and sexual orientation and more. And this is where Gender Cool mentorship helps fill the gap. The Gender Cool champions are amazing students who inspired me to match their level. My relationship with Daniel taught me that it's what we do internally within ourselves that brings to the change the landscape externally for all. As a cis woman, I realized something so basic when talking with Daniel. I've never once had to think about my gender identity. This privilege creates all sorts of blinds, so it's now considered a privilege. It's a privilege to be straight and normal. Wow. If you don't think about your gender, it's a privilege. It's insane. Oh. Oh my gosh. Through the Gender Cool experience, I truly learned about diversity and inclusion. Daniel learned to prep for a tech job. Intuit's learning how to evolve its workplace. The Gender Cool champions may never choose to work in Intuit despite our efforts to recruit. Oh, we know you're recruiting kids. You've made that very clear. Sick, 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 sick. Right in your face. Sick. Intuit makes we believe everyone plays a part, regardless of their. Disgusting. Oh, so now they get special. See, you want to talk about privilege? Well, now they've made sure that they can offer them rhinoplasty, voice therapy, breast augmentation, electrolysis phase. I wonder if a regular, normal woman wanted a breast implants, which I don't believe women should get that. I believe you should be happy with what God gave you, but that's my opinion. What if they want it? Would they say no? What if a regular person wanted a facelift and they're not transgender? Would they say no to that? Could be discrimination. I'm just saying. I don't know. But we do know for 100% fact that Intuit is going after children. They are grooming children. 100% grooming them. And I know they're watching this video and they ought to be scared because when I do a whole thing on this, it is not going to be good when the Twitter voice, when the X's get a hold of this one. I mean, look, there's a lot of things they can do, but we now have this here, which proves that they are targeting children or partnering kids as young as 12 with adults to talk about gay sex. They're kids. This is disgusting. And yet it's happening right under our noses. Every single person watching this, I'm going to make this a separate video itself, this last 45 minutes. I'm going to clip this and make it its own video in the next day or two. And I'm going to share specifically about the issue about Intuit going after targeting children, recruiting children after partnering kids with gay people and people that support gay stuff and LGBT with adults. In no other world, can you imagine if a pastor said, I'm going to partner the youth with an adult here who is struggling with their sexual identity and all these things here? Can you imagine the outrage that would happen? And rightfully so, by the way. Can you imagine that being the front page of everything here? But when the homos do it, not a big deal. Not a big deal. So what? So what? We partner 12-year-olds with 30, 40-year-old men. What's the harm? Look what we uncovered Intuit. Because I know that, believe me, everybody watching this, you want to make a comment, do it, be my guest, because you know what? They are watching. We know for 100% fact that they watch all of my videos. They transcribe everything I say, especially when it comes to them, even when it doesn't come to them. We know that they do. I know that they do. I know the CEO is very involved in things in that company when it comes to this homo crap. So, this is what we're dealing with. I mean, these people are sick. And I'm going to hopefully pass information along, and maybe we can do something about that. You know, they should not have anything to do with kids. I mean, remember, everything with the LGBT community is all about kids. It's all about trying to recruit them, partner with them, as if a 12-year-old knows the way of the world, right? I, as a 50-year-old man, right, is what they say over there, need to know what a 12-year-old's experience about gender and sex and sexuality and feelings of sex and lust and and they'll deny that, of course, and say that's not what it's about. But if you've ever been to a pride event, if you ever talked to a homo or a lesbo or a tranny, it's all about sex. That's their entire worldview, is about who they want to put their penis in or what they want to rub their vagina against. That's their entire worldview, or what they want to chop off. And Intuit is playing a big part in that by facilitating it and helping these kids. Why? Because they're a woke, sick company. And every conservative, every Christian out there should absolutely pull their money from that company. Sick bastards. So that'll be fun. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you guys got something out of this. Hey, listen, we now, again, remember, I was the one of the first people to go out there and show that YouTube admits to shadow banning. For all these years, they said it wasn't happening. Now they finally admitted it when it comes to the Donald Trump, Joe Rogan interview. They admitted that they were shadow banning that interview. So YouTube is shadow banning Christians and conservatives. Clearly. I mean, my video from the live preach at West Texas A&M went to 46,000, and then they just stopped it. Then the video showing the they, them, the president of the NAACP in Amarillo, literally calling us devils, white, we're white, calling us devils, so we could surmise calling us white devils, chasing Chris around while screaming and yelling. I mean, that went right to 1,000, and then they cut it off. YouTube is actively censoring Christians. That's why I'm telling you guys, we've got to get we've got to get everybody on X. We've got to get everybody on a Rumble channel. We have to do it. Because, I mean, this is ridiculous that they're doing this. Okay? Our Twitter, my X account is my name, at Richard Penkoski. That's my X. Our Rumble is Christian Journal. Make sure you follow us there. Because, again, we're going to get banned at some point on this channel. It happens. It happened. It's going to happen. They took the Words for Christ 500,000 channel down. They're going to take this one down. Matter of fact, I've got the analytics here. It shows the other day I went up by over 100 subscribers, and yet it doesn't reflect in the overall numbers. But I'm looking at the analytics here, and I can see here that I've got, the subscribers here on the day of, on Monday, October 28th, 93 new subscribers. But that you don't see that reflect the numbers here. I lost 6 since then, or 9 since then. We should still have a net gain, but you don't see there. So they're screwing around with it. So if you're watching this, please follow us at Rumble, which is the Christian Journal channel, which is the CJ logo, and my X account, which is at Richard Penkoski. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms there. I'd say TikTok again, but I got banned on the last account, so I had to start over. I got a whopping 20 followers now in the last, since I had to start over. But, But anyway, give us a follow. And if you did get something out of this, especially the Intuit stuff, I'm going to make its own video out of it. But please, because of the shadow ban and because of this is where we have to come together in this and share this video. Share this video on your social media platforms and your groups. Share it. Make sure everybody understands what's going on. Make sure they subscribe to the channel. Make sure they have their notifications on. And if you are subscribed to the channel, make sure you have your notifications turned on as well. If you are not subscribed to the Warriors for Christ YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do that. It's youtube.com/@Warriors for Christ official. I think it's official. Let me just make sure. I always mess that up. Yes, at Warriors for Christ official. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you have your notifications turned on, because otherwise you're going to miss when we go live. You're going to miss when we do our teachings. You're going to miss when we do expositions like this with the Intuit stuff and these corporations, So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go back and take a look and make sure you're subscribed. If you don't want to use YouTube, that's fine. Use X or Rumble. We appreciate all of that any way you can. But share this video. If you feel like other people can learn something from it, share this video and help others find us. Help support the ministry and what we're doing, because Intuit, they are punishing Christians. I can't tell you any more than that until it's over. But if we don't win this, if we don't help Tina or Christina, you guys, it's going to hurt all of us. So we need to pray for her. We need to pray for this case. We need to pray for her attorneys. We need to rebuke Intuit, okay? And we need to come together in this, okay? Now, again, I've been asking for about 2 weeks now for assistance for our sister in Christ. Okay. How? It's just not there. I don't understand. How we're not having thousands of dollars for her. I don't understand it. The woman is going to lose her house. She's been out of work for over a year. Do you know why she had to work for a year? Let me tell you what Intuit did to her. Okay. And I forget who told me this. Let me tell you what Intuit did to her. They asked for all the people she put applications into. And then they called or subpoenaed things from every one of those companies. They did that, in my opinion, to keep her from working because they want to punish her. This is not a sister who is lazy, who doesn't want to work, who wants a man to take care of her, even though there's nothing wrong with wanting a man to take care of you. But that's not her. This is a woman, a sister in Christ, who was fired from her job for standing up for what the Bible says. And she's being punished to this day for it. A woman is about to lose her home because of it. And you're telling me these Christians, we can't even come together? And again, I know I'm going to lament on this tonight, and I know people are watching, and I know it's probably not going to make a difference, but I got to say it anyway. How in the hell can we not at least give her one mortgage payment? How can we as Christians sit idly by knowing that the company that fired her because of her faith, is grooming children? Our sister in Christ is losing her home, and we just go, we'll pray for her, nothing more. How is it possible that we can't do it? By the time all the platforms are, I get thousands of people watching these videos. If this was a homo that got fired from a Christian group, they'd have $100,000 already. Every homo out there would give everything they have to support the kingdom of darkness. But we here, sitting here watching this, can't do anything to help our sister. We just want to say we'll pray for her as she fights for her very life, and mine and yours, because this case will affect you. And maybe that's what it takes. I don't know, because you know what? Christians don't want to do anything until they somehow find out it affects them. I just am frustrated beyond belief with this. Because the only reason why most street ministries in this country are limited to what we can do is because we don't have the financial resources of a mega church. Why? Because we don't make people feel good about what they do in their sin. Because we're telling people they need to stop sinning. Instead, we have a sister here who most people do go, well, it's not me, so what do I care? When are we going to come together to help our own, for crying out loud? I mean, seriously, you don't think the world watches this and sees me doing a video like this? Watch our sister who's fighting. Why would anybody, like, man, I'm going to lose my house, lose everything. And the Bible does say we're going to lose. But the Bible also says as Christians that if we see our brother or sister in need, we should be jumping in overjoyed to help. And yet we don't. We don't. We hear these stories. I just read you the brief. I should be able to pull $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for her easily. Give her 2 mortgage payments as a breather because she's selling her house because she can't afford to keep anymore. If our brothers and sisters all stepped up and said, let us help, she might not have to. But it's a church that lets them down. But if this is a homo, the homos, man, they would give every dime they had to help. This isn't for me. Believe me, we could use help too with some things, especially ministry-wise. But she needs it more than anything else right now because this woman's about to lose her home. So if you're watching this video and you're a Christian, I don't care what platform you're on, you can go look up Watson v. Intuit. You can see it for yourself. It's in federal court in Eastern District of Texas. She needs our help. I am asking every brother and sister tonight, I don't care what you got to do. We have to step up to help her. I say let's put together $4,000 for her to give her 2 months breathing for her mortgage payments. I have never been able to get anybody on my platforms to give $4,000 for anything. It's a lot of money. I'm not asking one person to do it. I'm asking everybody to contribute to this. Every single person out there, the Bible commands us, if we see a brother or sister in need, we should help. This sister is in need. Okay? She is in desperate need to save her house. How is it that the LGBT can be more generous and more gracious to each other in their sin than we can be in our righteousness to one another? How is that possible? If you can help, this is a moral imperative for us. I can't show you more. This woman's going to lose a lot more than just her house. You don't know what she's about to lose. And honestly, it's going to be because of us. Everyone watching has the capacity to put in $100, $200 to give to her. And yet we don't. Can you not go without your Dunkin' Donuts or your Starbucks for a week to help her? Is there something that you can give up for a week or two to help her? I mean, don't take away from your own mortgage payments, of course. But I mean, seriously? How is it the homos will do this? I mean, and yet we can't do this. How is it Bevel and Betty got $300,000 for being a thug and going to jail? And she was. I don't care what you say. I saw the video. She was a thug. And our sister, who's genuinely standing up for righteousness, can't even get help paying a mortgage payment just to try to stay in her house a month or two longer so it doesn't go into foreclosure so she can try to sell it. I mean, does anybody really care? I mean, do you know how frustrating it is to see her? Now, again, I don't hear this directly from her, but I hear it from people that I know. I see that. I look at the Pacer thing. I look at the, all the stuff there. We do have mutual friends. We do have mutual people in contact that, because again, we're trying to avoid, me and her colluding or whatever they called it, or whatever, through Intuit, right? Because Intuit, again, they're trying to bring me into it because I'm the worst for Christ. I'm the anti-LGBT hate group reporting the Southern Poverty Law Center. So they want to muddy the waters with me. Even though they can't because I didn't do anything. I didn't fire me. I never worked there. But I mean, seriously, brothers and sisters, the links are right down below. ChristianJournal.net/support. If you do Venmo or Zelle or PayPal, I can literally send it to her right there. I could, when it comes in, I can just fire it off to her. Chris, our website, it takes a few days for it to clear and get through. But you can use it. It's there. If you want to use a credit card, Cash App, Pay. But otherwise, you can use Venmo, and our Venmo is at Christian Journal. You can use Zelle, which is support@christianjournal.net. We have a PayPal, which is paypal.me/XTRIAN Journal Media. Again, it's paypal.me/XTRIAN Journal Media. If you're watching this sister needs our help. A month or 2 months of mortgage payments will give her a lot of breathing room and time to sell her home. I mean, it shouldn't matter to sell her home. I wish we can get $2,000 a month to help her, whatever her mortgage payment is. But I realistically know, and she knows, and we all know, Christians aren't going to do that. Now, if I promised you $4,000, if I promised you that if you gave $2,000 today and in 10 months, guaranteed in writing, you'd get $100,000 back, every Christian would jump on there, right? Everyone watching would jump on it because most Christians, we tend to give when we get something out of it. Well, let me tell you something, Christian. You will get something out of this because if she loses, if she gets so distraught, and again, and of course, most Christians will accuse her of being weak and everything else. If she gets to the point where she just takes a stupid something to get it over with, to try to salvage something, it'll be our fault. It truly will be our fault. So I'm asking you as brother, sister in Christ, help our sister out tonight. Look up the case. I read you the file. Look what Intuit's doing. They're punishing her. They're punishing Christians. ChristianJournal.net/support. Venmo at Christian Journal. Zelle, support@ChristianJournal.net. Or PayPal, which is paypal.me/XTRIAN Journal Media. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I appreciate you all. And I pray that some people have the heart to just say, here, help, and just give her some time so that she can breathe and give her a month or two to, sell her house so she doesn't lose it. So appreciate you all. Love you all. Thank you all again. Make sure you tuned in because today's Thursday. We're back on our Sunday night with the next video teaching. We will start a Catholic series then, but make sure you are subscribed to all the channels because that into a portion of the video, that's going to be uploaded separate, showing that they're after children. God bless you guys. Again, please do what you can to support our sister. The links are down below. They're in the description. Okay. Venmo at Christian Journal, Zelle support@ChristianJournal.net, PayPal, right? PayPal.me/XTRIAN Journal Media, and our website, ChristianJournal.net/support. Love you. God bless you guys. And I'll see you guys on Sunday night.
I would like to address some of you upcoming street preachers. You have to understand, you're not going to be a pulpit preacher. You're not going to preach in very nice places. As a matter of fact, where God will send you, it's going to be a little bit dirty. Unfortunately, most ministers see their flock dressed nice, looking nice, smelling nice on Sunday. But we see them from Monday through Saturday at any given place. And so that flock is a mess. And you have to understand, when you preach open air, it's not going to be glamorous. Unfortunately, God's going to send you into the filth, the wickedness. You're going to understand why, even at one point, God resented even making mankind. And so you need to count the cost. There's nothing glamorous. There's nothing wonderful and beautiful. It's not, you can forget about being a missionary to Hawaii. If you're going to be an open air preacher, your hands are going to get dirty, because the field that you're going to plow is filthy. You're going to look at sin in a whole different way. As a matter of fact, if you're a good street preacher, you're going to hate sin. You're going to despise sin. You're not just going to dislike it. You're going to understand why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and why God destroyed the world with water and flood. And so if you're a young open air preacher, this is what you're going to have to look up to. This is going to be the field in which you're going to be plowing in. And you need to rejoice in that and understand you're going to be hated, despised, and jailed working in a place like this. Because one day, I'm going to die, and I'm going to be with the Lord. And all this will be yours.